Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be on a Sunday night for what is round 5 of Sunday Night Lights, live and exclusive, of course, on Top Split TV. This week, coming to you from the classic British track of Oulton Park, the Foster's hairpin layout, short and very well suited to this car. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, we've had Bathurst, we've had Formula One, and now we've got Sunday Night Lights. What more could a race fan ask for on a Sunday night?
Amazing day for motorsports, and to top it all off with the Sunday Night Lights is definitely a great way to cap off what has been an amazing day, especially for the Ford fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was plenty of action, I should say, on the mountain today, and we follow it up with what is a great layout here. Just the 9 corners here, almost like a reverse oval in some respects, but some of the corners very challenging in this new Skippy model, wouldn't you say, Corey?
It is definitely a challenge, Alex, especially in the first sector, coming down the hill leading to that right-hander where the track would normally split off and then rejoin again, is going to provide a massive challenge. The car can get very light in the tail end there, so hopefully these drivers can get that area figured out. And there's also the area across the back, the 2 right-handers that complete the lap, is also providing to be a little bit of difficulty as well, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew is out the back. We're just on board with Luke Witten as he points the nose on the second of his flying laps through Druids up the back. Warwick Bridge straight into Lodge to close out his second qualifying lap. Why don't we do this one? It's got to beat a 7-4. The quick guys here getting into the sixes and well in, given the right track conditions. What's Witten got in store for us tonight? It's got a 7 dead, which is good enough only to put him up to P2. Hendrickson with a 6.978. And Furhoff, the newly minted Team Milo driver, he has grabbed the top spot on the dais, or the qualifying stage at least. There, Corey, fantastic drive from Furhoff. We see Toykala, his Team Milo teammate, crossing the line. What's Toykala got for us tonight? He has jumped up to the top of the pops with a 106.6, Corey. That's pretty fast around here in quality, that's for sure.
Oh, that is absolutely incredible, Alex. And we got 3 Milo cars in the top 5 there. So far, a complete lockout for the Milo contingent. Amazing to see. And Tim Hendrickson, our one-plated car here tonight, all the way down in P4. He won't be happy about that one, Alex.
No, absolutely. We're just on board with Anthony Catt here, who I think might be making a late quali run here. Short laps here, so you can make them pretty late. So we hop on board now, coming into the final corner at Lodge. Sweeping, it's tight and sweeping right-hander. It's got a nice little elevation change where you've really got to be handy on the steering wheel. Open it up a little bit so the rear doesn't step out. He's done a 7 dead. That's exactly the same time as we saw previously from, who was it previously that did that? I can't even remember now, but I think they saw 2 701s, 7001 at least, although that's, to be fair, that's his 3rd lap. I was getting excited over nothing. He's Cat, though, he is in P3 for the time being. His best lap, a 6.963, putting him well in contention up the front there, Corey.
Indeed it is, and I'm glad to see Anthony Catt having some great results. We haven't seen him up the pointy end too much lately. Last week, we seen kind of a resurgence from him, which is excellent to see. So hopefully we can continue to see some good results out of him. We also have the 4-plated car of Lee Anderson still on track, just getting a little bit of extra practice here, working his 3rd lap. He's currently in 8th place, down the order a little bit with a 17344, which is probably not the best for him at the moment, Alex.
I know Frey has just completed his 2nd lap, and he's now up to 2nd with a 6.821. He's done a fantastic job there. The other person we got out on track's the other He's wearing his FNRC livery here tonight. He's Team Milo, though. It's Mr. Paul Beatty. We chuck up the comparison lap here. He's done a few races here this week, just quietly. Up around the 30 mark, if I'm not mistaken. We might just follow him on his run into and through the final corner at Lodge. Although this one here, this little one here counts. It's known as Deer Leap. And he's come up... No, he's done a 10-4. I'm wondering if Beatty is out for a late run at quali, hoping that the tracks rub it up a bit, Corey, as he heads now through turn 1, down the hill, through the Cascades. This really challenging left-hand kink, the only left-hand quarter on the circuit, with the exception of the run up the hill into Druids, Corey. He's got a lovely run out there. What can Beatty do on this second lap, Corey?
Well, I'm not really sure, Alex. I haven't seen too much of what Beatty has been capable of, but we've seen him get a little bit loose there on that left-handed kink, which is what I was alluding to earlier. That can be a bit of a danger area, especially on cold tyres early on in the running. But it looks like Paul right now controlling the car very nicely through Druids to come up to what is realistically the final corner on the track. It looks like he's got a nice braking marker there, nice and deep, hits the curb quite nicely, uses all the exit curb. He's coming up to the line now, and it is going to be, drum roll please,
a 7-9-7-7 to round out the session. He has only managed P15, but let's go through our full grid now before we start round 5 at Oulton Park for Sunday Night Lights. Sammy Toykala representing Team Milo here with a 6.6, topping the timesheets for qualification. Julian O'Fray, the only red face. Oh no, his teammates down the order a bit. Julian O'Fray flying the flag for Red Face Racing Team in P2. Ben Furhoff, a welcome return to the series. He's done a lot of laps here this week and has joined Team Milo to celebrate his return. P4 tonight, the UK and I's Anthony Cat. Great to see him back, a regular supporter of the series these days. P5, Tim Hendrickson representing Team Torpedo. Car number 1 here tonight, looking to progress through the field, no doubt. P6 tonight, Luke Witten, another Team Milo driver. Fantastic to see Luke up the front running, in fact, leading ANZ driver in the Sunday Night Lights series at this stage. P7, Timo Vaskalampi from Finland, nursing a few injuries is Timo, hoping he can get through the race successfully tonight. P8, Sasha Gourlay, the other Red Face Racing Team member. He's won 3 of our races so far this season, hoping he can progress from there. P9, Lee Anderson from UK and IP10, Russell Clark, the leader of Team Milo, Victor Tabernero from Iberia in P11. P12, Helmut Baum, been out on track a few times with him this week as we go over the page. ANZ's own Kevin Henderson with a 107.7 in P13. P14, the late arrival Mitch McLeod for Talk Inc. Paul Beatty for the final Team Milo driver in P15. Harvey Tobaro Rodriguez in P16 from Iberia. P17, Alex Tapia Vico from Iberia also. Thank you, Sodi. The race does, in fact, start shortly. Let's grab a bit of a better view there as we have just the 5 seconds remaining. No, the starter has given the folks their orders. Toykala starting out on pole with O'Fray tucked in behind. Oh, there's a jump behind McLeod's. Oh, he jumped and then he stalled on the grid. As the rest of the drivers get away cleanly on the run into turn 1, expect action aplenty here tonight. The cold tyres on lap 1 are treacherous as we see one of the drivers running wide there. I think it was Vaskalampi, and the trailing Mitchell McLeod way back in the distance. 2x2, Hendrickson making the move. The 7 car of Witten getting every which way but loose on the approach. Then back through Foster's. I think everyone's managed to get through cleanly. A miracle in of itself, Corey.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of action.
There's one over! Holy dooly, it's Russell Clark who's exited stage pit lane after being flipped over and over. And the other Team Milo driver, Furhoff, also exited to the pits there, Corey. Sorry to interrupt.
And we also have Tim Hendrickson has had a lose as well, Alex, coming up the hill there. I'm not sure what's happened to Tim, but it looks like we just got lots of drama going on. Harvey Rodriguez has also come to grief. Both of his right side tyres have absolutely collapsed on the vehicle there, Alex.
Yeah, we lost a few into the pits already. I'll tell you what, it's been the tale of the racing here this week that we've had so many first lap incidents, and we've lost 5 in the opening lap, although McLeod must be serving a penalty, no doubt, after jumping the start. And meanwhile, up the front, we've got Toikala and O'Fray leading the way through, heading down through the King of the Cascades, now through the Foster's hairpin, and looking to clear out on the middle stages of lap 2. 22, of course, here tonight. Side by side they go. O'Fray makes a minor mistake there and lets Toikala through. Not your typical overtaking position, but you've got to take your chances around here. It's a very narrow track, very difficult, and at what I would call, again, a pressure to pass track, Corey.
Yeah, exactly right, Alex. It's very difficult to get a move made here. There's only a couple of zones where you can really even appear to want to make a move. But as we're seeing, so many people spinning out of contention so far. I did notice a little bit of road rage earlier between Sasha Gourlay and Timu Vascalampi into the third corner there. Looks like they've got themselves sorted out now, but at the moment, at the front of the field, it looks like we could end up having a 4-way battle here for the lead with a 4-car chase pack as well, Alex.
Cat and Witten now, as you say, bridging the gap and joining these two after that early incident or early mistake from O'Fray. So uncharacteristic for the Redface Racing team member. He's won one of the races here this season or in this series. The others all being taken out by his Redface. Oh, who did we lose in the background? Was that Cat? Yes, it was. Why don't we go grab a quick replay of that to see what brought Cat unstuck? No doubt coming into the hairpin by the looks. The rear car, just through the kink, and he never quite gathered it up. Very narrow on the entry, clips it. Then the exit curbing. I can tell you from first-hand experience, Corey, that exit curbing, you get both your outside wheels on it, and you'll find just the rear, and the rear becomes the front very quickly, as we saw there for Cat, Corey.
Yeah, indeed it does, Alex, and these curbs are very unforgiving in those places where there is a lot of load being placed on the car, but that just leaves us with the 3 cars at the front with Luke Witten starting to drop off of this front pack now, but Sammy J. Toikala in the lead with Redface Racing's Julian Alfray sitting there in P2, but we're going to have a quick little look back at the chase pack here just to see what's going on. That's being led by Sasha Gourlay, the other Redface Racing car. Right behind him is Lee Anderson, Timu Vascalampi, and Victor Tamburino. Absolutely incredible little cluster of cars right there in that second chase pack, Alex, so they could find their way into reaching back to this front pack.
Yeah, absolutely. The two-plater car of Gourlay, Redface Racing team member, he is carrying a little bit of damage, though. He does have the front nose cone missing there. He'll be having cold little toes there by the end of the race, and I'm not sure how much that'll hamper his progress beyond his usual speed. As we go back up the front, though, we get a decent look camera angle there. The trees getting in the way. We've got Witten right on the tail now. He's closed up a couple of tenths in that lap. He was about 7 tenths behind at the start of last lap. The draft pulling him back into play. He almost looked to hop out of the draft there momentarily on the approach to turn 1. And now we see this front 3 now locked in a tight battle. You've got a Team Milo sandwich there with Redface Racing's Julian O'Fray splitting Toikala and Witten as they head down into Foster's now for the mid stages of lap 5. Beautiful lines there from the drivers, getting all the pace they can muster out of that slow corner there, Corey.
Now what we're seeing right now, Alex, is something that we haven't seen for a lot of the season so far. Instead of it being 2 Redface Racing cars bullying whoever is at the front with them, we got the 2 Milo cars up there bullying the Redface Racing car. So this is quite the interesting development that we've gotten so far in this race. But as you can see, these guys are pushing every limit that they can with this track. With it being so hard to pass, you've got to try and get whatever advantage you can in the places where it will really count. So you can either try and extend your lead or try and affect a pass. But a smart play here would be Sammy J. Toikala maybe trying to hold up Julian Alfray a little bit to try and get Luke Witten that advantage to move up into P2, Alex.
Yeah, potentially. We've seen, as you say, the Redface Racing boys playing teammates, or certainly not team orders from what we've seen. But tonight it's up to the two Milo boys to get the job done. As we see a Frey pick, he hit that curb at Foster's pretty hard and bent the front wing, which has dutifully straightened out. Thank you to the droids once again. But he is splitting these two Milo boys. Be great to see what sort of tactics can come into play. Witten, of course, we know has tremendous pace, leading ANZ driver in the series at the moment. Question is, does he get a bit of the yips through Druids that time round? Can he stay on the track to really form a challenge, as we see O'Fray now come up the inside of Toykala, another one who we know has pace. He's taken out SNL, he's taken out the official series. Side by side he goes. What's Witten going to do here? Tucked in right behind his teammate. Is Witten going to have a look as well? No team orders here. Thank you very much. He's going to poke the nose up. No. He's just done enough to unsettle Toykala there, and he's had to tuck back in behind. Fascinating race so far. As in the background we see Gourlay running extremely wide through turn one. Something you can take advantage of in this at this track, but it does cost you an incident point, 17 of them, and you're out of the race, Corey.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt here right now, Alex, but we had another change for the lead. Sammy J. Toykala back up on the left side of Julian Alfray as they're making their way down to the Foster's hairpin, managing to get the pass made on the outside of the corner. Luke Witten now having a look on the outside as well in the draft of his teammates that come into Druids. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done here. Alfray slipped a little bit wide in the first part of that corner, but they've managed to bring it back in. But what this battling is doing is now letting Sammy J. Toykala get away from them. But it's also inviting this second group, being led by Sasha Gourlay, to catch up to them a little bit here, Alex.
I tell you what, I don't know what sort of team orders are going on here, but Witten doing everything he can to upset the run of O'Fray there. But as you say, what it's doing is bringing Gourlay back into it. Now just the 1.1 tenths behind, and certainly getting a whisker of draft at that point, as once again he runs wide and he's back down to that magic 1 second mark. These two better settle down lest this become a pack of 6 cars, Corey.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex, and if it becomes a pack of 6 car or even 7, as we still do have Victor Tambernero on the back of that pack, it could provide some pretty good racing, pretty close and intense racing as we continue on with this race.
Yeah, it's been that way throughout this week, Corey. In my experience, you get a few guys battling up the front, and battling hard they do, and it's generally speaking really enjoyable because you really do have to put the pressure on to force a mistake. There's only a couple of opportunities where if you get the better run you can have a look. That's here into the final corner at Lodge, perhaps into Old Hall at 1, then Druids is probably the second spot or the third spot where you can poke the nose and unsettle them enough that you might get a look into Lodge. But the bravest of the brave, as you saw from, or you mentioned from Toykala last lap, will have a look into Foster's. I know from first-hand experience, Mr. Gorkrocher, who's in the chat here tonight, had a look on me during the week and got it done. Fascinating and a lot of fun racing for sure, but certainly the bold going where angels fear to tread, as these three now become, well, it's still that 1 second gap, so I was about to say 6 or 7, but it's still a battle in 3 at the moment as the front three have settled down a bit this lap, Corey.
Yeah, it definitely looks like since there's a little bit of an air gap here forming between Alfray and Witten, that they've definitely been able to hold on to that gap. But as soon as they start battling again here, Alex, it looks like Sasha Gourlay, for sure and certain, is going to catch up to them. But we're going to have a quick little look at what's going on with the rest of the pack behind Victor here, as we can see the 17th plated car of Helmet is actually made his way into 8th after starting from P12 here. Alex doing some pretty good work here, leading his own little pack with Anthony Catt and Paul Beatty and Tim Hendrickson wrapping up that little pack there. Yeah,
Hendrickson not having the best of outings tonight. He's 7/10 off Beatty in all the way down in P11, and really struggling, although he's got a fantastic lap time there of a 1:05.5, and in fact holds from what I can tell, the fastest lap of the race, albeit with draft, as he pokes the nose, shows the nose I should say, to the 14 car in Paul Beatty. Perhaps he'll get it done up the hill this time. We might hop on the front there with him. Actually, let's go on the top there as we look. to the car on the outside. He's going to cut through the kink and leaves Beatty in his wake as they go through Druids. What a fantastic overtaking move that was. Corey getting it done on the approach to Druids there. Hendrickson showing every scrap of talent and speed he's got here tonight.
Indeed, that was a very silky smooth move there, Alex, and we've also had a change for position just in front of them as well. Anthony Catt managing to make his way around Helmet, going into that final corner there. But now if Paul Beatty was a smart man, which I do know he is sometimes, he will just stick into Tim Hendrickson's draft there and allow Tim to move him up the field and hopefully try and get these guys together in an organized faction, and maybe they can catch up to our front pack, which, if I'm understanding correctly, is still being led by Sammy J. Toykala, but it looks like Julian Alfrey now moving to the right of Sammy J to try and make a move into Druids, Alex.
Yeah, he's got it side by side through Druids once again. It's a fantastic place to poke the nose and see if you can't unsettle the guy in front, because both of you can then get a good run into the final corner at Lodge, and then it's 50-50 depending on who gets the drive out of it, who crosses the line first. I've had both happen this week. Personally, you can get the win done from the outside or the inside if you can defend it, but it looks like O'Frey's got it done now with Witten tucked in behind his teammate in Toykala. They did have a 1.4 second gap. It's down to a 1.2 after those little shenanigans, and still the hard charging Gourlay, you can just see him in the background behind these three. Toykala up the inside of the kick, shows the nose, hugs the tight line. We've got he's just managed to hang on around the outside there. Beautiful driver there. Will get the drive out of the corner. Angels fear to tread indeed. But what that's done is it brought this back into a full-on pack of 7. 2 by 2 they go. Who would have thought? Half a lap so far. They've got 2 by 2s. We've seen that Gourlay poking up the nose. They're going to go 2 by 2. Noah's Ark style through. No, they're not. It's O'Frey now. Still up the inside. Toykala. Who would have thought you could go better part of 3/4 of lap 2 by 2, Corey? It's still O'Frey and Toykala on the approach into the final corner now. Witten now having to defend from Gourlay. The red-faced boys are back together with the Milo boys, and it's all happening, Corey, as they've all done it. Nearly the full lap. Amazing stuff.
It's absolutely incredible, Alex, and it is still going. Sammy J holding on what is, for the better part of the lap, the outside of the track the entire time. Still managing to hold on to the outside as they're going through turn 1. It looks like he's finally gotten a move made after nearly an entire lap of battling at it. But the one thing that Sammy J will now have to worry about is that sitting in second and third are both of the red-faced racing boys. Luke Witten losing out to both of them there and falling back to 4th place, almost into the clutches of Lee Anderson in the 4 car. This has definitely become a very interesting battle now, Alex. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the rest of the race.
Outstanding driving from the drivers up front. I mean, we saw 2 wide for pretty much a whole lap there, starting at the downhill section through the Cascades. Toykala showing with O'Frey how it can be done, and all the while bringing his teammate Sasha Gourlay back into the race and taking Luke Witten taking a step back in the process. And now we have a lead pack of 10 with Vascalampi and Tabanero sitting on the back there, looking to get in amongst it. Very similarly liveried cars, although I'm not sure that they're teammates. But as we move through this pack, we've got Toykala, O'Frey, Gourlay, Witten, Anderson, Vascalampi and Tabanero all fighting it out for the potential win here. We're 14 of 22 laps down, Corey. Oh, we're going to have to catch a breath in a minute. This track is frantic, as is the racing.
Well, this is the thing that's really good about the short tracks, Alex. It's short, sharp, hard-paced action the entire time, and these guys are definitely not disappointing. As we see now, Julian Alfrey starting to poke the nose up to the inside, making this run towards Druids again. This seems to be his favourite overtaking opportunity. But if Sammy J has shown him anything right now, is that he can hold it onto the outsides. We see a little bit of contact behind them as well between Sasha Gourlay and Luke Witten. Luke now coming up to the inside of Sasha to try and take 3rd place away. The action is aplenty right now, Alex, and it's going to be hard to tell who to put our money on for the win in this one.
Oh, I tell you what, it's Milo and Redface all throughout, and just in behind you've got Lee Anderson in that hot pink car, really looking to get amongst it as the boys once again 2x2 through turn 1, and not a single speck of dust kicked up on the outside of the corner. Fantastic control, fantastic car placement from all concerned as we 2x2 behind. Witten being threatened by Anderson once again. Gets it done. They get back single file there. I'll tell you what, this is one of the most action-packed races we've ever seen on a Sunday night, Corey.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And we've been to many big drafty tracks, and we've been to little tracks that are hard to pass, but nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to the action that we're getting here right now. We might end up on the iRacing win series again for this race, because this is absolutely incredible action that we're getting right now, Alex.
Well, they must be doing something right here with this new Skippy if we get racing like this every week. And I know it's not a favourite of everyone, but they keep adding little bits and pieces to the Skippy models, and we are all benefiting from it here tonight, with the exception of those trees that are blocking our view. We're doing wonders here for the Skippy community, showing what sort of action you can have, as we see Toikala running wide on the exit of 1 there, and see Anderson once again putting pressure all over Witten on the run down the Cascades into Foster's once again, as we see O'Fray tucked in behind Toikala then. I don't know about you, Corey, but I think they're all taking a breath. They've all gone single file for a while, as we see Vascalampi in the background running wide out of Foster's, hopefully not taking him out of this lead pack battle, Corey.
I do believe that they will be taking a little bit of a breath here, and hopefully Vascalampi can hold on. Vascalampi, the unfortunate victim of Sasha Gourlay earlier on in the race, hence why Sasha is actually missing that little piece of his nose cone, which does not seem to be affecting his top end speed at all, being the leader of that second pack for so long. And yeah, these guys all seem to just be settling out right now. They might be, just thinking of what moves that they've got to make to end this race. As, we're coming up to about 6 laps to go as they cross the line this time. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see how it leads out, as we see Julian Alfred going for the move again up on the inside of Sasha, and Luke Witten out of nowhere gets up onto the inside of Sasha and is going to make the move stick here, maybe, possibly. We've got 2x2 battling again here, Alex. It's absolutely crazy action going on right now.
I tell you what, I've never seen so much two-wide action here this week in all the racing that I've done and watched. But I tell you what, we've learned that the outside run through Foster's is not only possible, but it seems to be the faster place to get your exit done, because every time we've seen Toikala go around the outside, he's got the drive, and it's set him up well for this run through Druids into the final corner. Similarly then, we saw Gourlay go around the outside of the hard-charging Witten as they approach now into the final corner at Lodge. 2x2, can you believe it? We're 7 cars deep, 2x2 every other corner at one of the most challenging and narrow tracks we've been at all season, Corey.
It's absolutely incredible to watch, Alex, and as I keep harping on about every week, it just goes to show the skill of the drivers that we have amassed here for these Sunday Night Lights races. As we see now, the 2 red-faced racing cars almost getting into a little bit of a battle of their own there for second, but they think better of it, go back to single file. I think they might be taking a little bit of a breath here to reset and get ready to race again. So we saw the 3 car there of Julian Alfred getting a lot of curb going through Foster's, almost tagging the back of Sammy Toikala there. Thankfully he didn't, but at the moment it seems like things have just settled down a little bit here. And as we see Luke Witten just looking around, maybe looking for a space to try and think about a move later on. But the 2 red-faced racing cars are definitely taking the challenge up to the Milo drivers right now, Alex.
If you can believe it, the front 7 cars are separated by 1.5 seconds. I mean, this is crazy as they go 2x2 through the final corner once again. How do you fit 3 cars there? The 2 red-faced cars and Luke Witten getting it done through the final corner. This is crazy stuff now. As we see Vascalampi move up into P5 now, looking to get in amongst the front runners now, as we see Witten forced wide that time by Gourlay, and 2x2 they go once again down the hill into the kink. Or are they going to get it done through the Cascades? We see Witten up the inside now. This time he has the outside run through Foster's. What does this mean for him? All over the exit curbing there, as we saw 2 wheels on it and there's no spinning. one wheel on it and you're likely to end up facing the wrong way, as we saw earlier in the race. But that time it was Gourlay getting it done. It's Witten now poking the nose. Oh, he's got the rear tyre on the grass. Will Vascalampi look to take advantage there? No. They've got it single file for the better part now, as the front two looking to get a little bit of a gap now. They are a full second ahead with just the balance of, well, 3 laps remaining as they cross the line, this time heading through the final corner. It is Toikala leading over.
Oh, there's contact, Alex. There's contact. Luke Witten has just tapped the back of Sasha Gourlay, and it has all gone wrong. And someone else that I was just about to mention as they were coming through the final corner there, Anthony Catt, has just overtaken them and is actually catching up to these leading packs as they're starting to battle it out here a little bit, Alex.
Yeah, just grabbing a replay of that incident that you were talking about, Corey, as they came into the final corner. Witten already plenty of damage as we see parts strewn all over the track. Looks like there's almost phantom contact there. Didn't look like they made any contact, but it must have been a bit earlier on. Let's go and see if we can't. Oh no, we better go back to live pictures, folks, because we don't want to miss the end of this race. Because up front now we have our leaders again, Toikala and O'Fray. Toikala now looking to take a really commanding position now. Looks to be not under threat this time around through Druids. They'll have two laps to go as they cross the line. This time, line astern rather than side by side. Now we have Vascalampi, who's taken full advantage now. He's got a hard-charging Lee Anderson and the 13 car of Tabanero. Oh, we lost Vascalampi. I think we've just lost Vascalampi. I don't know if he's picked up too many incidents or what the story is. As we jump back up to our leaders, we have Toikala and O'Fray still out in front. Line astern this time. They've been side by side more than not in this race. And this time, with just the 1.5 laps to go as they go through Foster's this time round, they've decided to go line astern, Corey.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where O'Fray is going to place his move, Alex. And I do believe we have indeed lost Vascalampi, maybe to too many incident points, because he has disconnected from the server, which is unfortunate to see. He was absolutely flying there, but we got a battle for the lead here, Alex, as they're coming into Druids. Looks like Alfred trying that inside move again on Toikala. Looks like he's got it side by side at the moment, just doesn't quite get the drive off the corner. These very momentum-based cars absolutely helping Sammy to take off and continue to lead this race. But coming through the final corner, it looks like Alfred got a little bit more of an advantage that time, Alex.
Yeah, it looks like he's going side by side once again into the first corner now. And it looks like he's going, oh, slidey they go, but still they manage to hold on. Fantastic driving there from all concerned as we head around for the final lap this time round. Corey, who's your money on?
I've got to have my money on Milo this time, Alex. Even though Redface Racing has been the absolute dominant force this time, I believe this is the race Sammy J can prosper and succeed.
Well, he's got the outside line through Foster's once again. It seems to have been working for him the whole night through. What can he do this time? Side by side, they go up the hill, round the left-hander on the approach to Druids for the final time. I tell you what, O'Fray's got, how's the drive from Toikala around the outside? Who would have thought you could get so much drive out? He's almost a car length in front. He's got the inside line into the final corner. He takes the defensive line. Beautiful switch across from O'Fray. Forced to take the outside line. It's Toikala. Toikala's got it done. Beautiful driving there from Toikala to take it out for Team Milo with O'Fray threatening every moment on the run to the line. Fantastic display of skill. Fantastic race from all concerned. Congratulations to our podium in Toikala, O'Fray and Anderson. What an amazing display of driving, Corey.
Oh, absolutely incredible display by all the drivers tonight, Alex. The immense battles that we're getting at the front there were absolutely crazy, as the drivers are now doing a little bit of a drift demonstration in celebration of what was an absolutely thrilling race.
Amazing way to finish round, well, to the end of Sunday Night Lights here at Oulton Park. And I tell you, I've enjoyed this week's racing entirely at top to tail, and it's this sort of action that brings people back to the skippies week after week, because can you believe we were 7 deep for, what was it, about 18, 20 laps of this race? and some of the best drivers going around putting on quite the amazing display. As look at these guys in formation making their way round on the cool down lap just to as a mark of respect, if anything else. I'm sure these guys putting on, as we see O'Fray really letting it all hang out. What an amazing drive from those guys. Let's as we where are we? I'm just going to try and find the view that I'm looking for. There it is. Let's go and have a look at our final race results here tonight for round 5 at Oulton Park Circuit. Sunday night lights on Top Split TV. We've got Sammy Toy Carla there for Team Milo. Started on pole, finished with the victory. Congratulations. Fantastic race from Toy Carla, taking out the first victory from anyone other than a Redface Racing team member. But speaking of which, we have Julian O'Fray of Redface Racing just the 6/100ths behind, and that's pretty much sums up how the race was between those two. Fantastic driving, fantastic result. Lee Anderson from UK&I, good to see him up near the front, just the 7/10ths behind. And Victor Tamburno, apologies Victor, from Iberia, leading Iberian driver here tonight, 13 plated car. He'll be in for a nice surprise with about close to 80 I rating coming his way from this result. P5 went to Redface Racing's Sasha Gourlay, an unfamiliar position for him all the way down in P5. I say all the way down, it's still a top 5, of course. UK&I's Anthony Catt in P6. Luke Witten for Team Milo after that adventurous race. What a show that he and his compatriots put on there. Finishing down in P7 for Team Milo. Paul Beatty, P8, another Team Milo driver. Great drive from Mr. Beatty there. Kevin Henderson, ANZ's own, up 4 positions. I should mention Beatty up 7 positions in P8, 4 for Kevin Henderson in P9. Mitchell McLeod, the late starting Mitchell McLeod for Talk Inc. in P10. Alex Tapia Vico from Iberia in P11. Harvey Tobar Rodriguez in P12, rounding out your Sunday Night Lights point scoring positions. Over the page, we find Timo Vaskalampi from Finland. He's retired after accumulating the ire of the stewards with too many incident points. P14 tonight to the returning Tim Hendrickson of Team Torpedo. Helmut Baum similarly retiring in P15. Russell Clark for Team Milo in 16th. And Ben Furhoff, after starting so well, sitting 3rd on the grid, his return and debut for Team Milo, return to Sunday Night Lights and debut for Team Milo, not ending the way either of them would have hoped. The strength of field tonight, 38-11, which is well in excess of everywhere else this week. Fortunately for us, we got to put on the best show of the best racing in town. I think it was indicative of what Skippy Racing can put on a track like this. Julian O'Fray with a 105.3. That's close to, I should say, the fastest lap of the week, let alone the race, from what I've seen so far, Corey. And once again, speaking to the amazing show that was put on here tonight.
Indeed, it does, Alex. I mean, these guys were absolutely on edge for the entire race, and no better example of that than when we saw Sammy Choikala and Julian Alfrey going side by side for an entire lap. I mean, that takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience with each other, and a lot of respect between the two drivers to not hit each other, and it just is an absolute demonstration of how you should drive a skippy and the absolute skill of these drivers as they're going around the track, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It was, we're just catching a replay of Mitchell McLeod jumping the start and then stalling it by the looks. He's had a great season so far this season, but certainly not what he was looking for here tonight. Well, we've got a couple of people in the green room. Why don't we bring up Mr. Paul Beatty? Mr. Paul Beatty, mate, that's got to be close to, if not your best Sunday Night Lights result, mate. Up 7 positions into P8. You got to. I can hear the grin from here, mate.
Oh, dude, that was just crazy. Like, because I was running the FNRC, the Friday Night Race Club livery tonight, because it's been a big day. It's been Bathurst, and you know, it's been a fun day. So I wasn't taking it very seriously tonight. I just thought I would be super unaggressive, and see what happened. And oh, what a race! That was that was so much fun.
Yeah, mate. It looked like it was. I see you running wide at Foster's lap one, mate. Letting Mitchell McLeod
Yeah.
back through after his jump start. But other than that, mate, you kept it clean.
Yeah, well, my main concern was really like the last 10 or so laps. Kevin Henderson was about 8 seconds behind, which is usually enough for him to catch me. But I did enough to keep the gap fairly constant, and I could just sort of relax a bit towards the end and just sort of goof around a bit. That was a fun race. That was awesome.
Yeah, well done, mate. It looks like a lot of people had a good time out there tonight. As I was just jumping through some of the action on that first lap.
Well,
Apologies
don't
for
tell
jumping
me.
around.
I don't know who won, so I've got to. Don't spoil it for me. I'm going to watch it.
Fair
I was
enough,
just,
mate.
I'm only looking at like one place ahead and one place behind on the relative. So and it's largely blue. So it wasn't like I was setting the planet on fire with my pace or anything. But it was all right.
Well, Paul, do you want one spoiler, mate?
No,
Well, you're going to get one anyway. You beat Tim Hendrickson.
That's right. Geez, I'm looking at some strewn cars with wheels flying everywhere in the
oh,
background.
I nearly got hit in the face by a tire. I think it was Tim Hendrickson and some other guy. They were ahead of me, and there was just bits flying all over the place. I had to pull right up. It's
Yeah, mate, looked like it was pretty action-packed at different stages. But yeah, we won't spoil it for you, but in for a treat, mate. One of the best races we've seen so far in
awesome,
Sunday Night
awesome.
Lights. So you got something to look forward to anyway, mate. Well, thanks for joining us here in the booth, mate, and your continued support of the series. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to tonight?
Team Milo. Maybe I should have run the Milo livery tonight. I didn't know I'd finish so high. I wasn't. I was just having a bit of a laugh tonight. But yeah, that and Friday Night Race Club and you guys, and yeah, it was a fun race, nice and clean. Thanks everyone. That was awesome.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks,
It's
Paul.
been it's been generally, actually I like to say hello to everyone that's raced on this track this week because the quality of racing has just been really, really nice. It's been hard and close, but fair. It's been really good.
Yeah, I concur, mate. It's been a fantastic week of racing here. Very challenging in the opening stages, and I think people have been somewhat mindful of that, and it's led to better racing as a result. So, congratulations on your result here
Thanks,
tonight,
man.
mate. And
Thanks, Alex.
we look forward
Thanks,
to
Troy.
seeing you in the coming weeks, mate.
Yeah, cool, dudes. See you. Good night.
There you go, Corey. I reckon I could see. I know Paul's in Sydney. I reckon I could see it from here in Canberra. That big cheesy grin on his face. Sounded like he had a blast.
Well, mate, I'm all the way in Perth and I can see it, which is one big smile. Absolutely incredible result there for Paul. And I reckon if we kept him going, he could have talked for hours about how happy he was. Such an incredible drive from him to go up 7 positions. And again, that's just another story in what was an amazing race for us here in the top split, Alex.
Yeah, amazing stuff indeed. Well, we've got a special guest here by the looks, Mr. Brian Sheridan, joining us in the Top Split TV commentary booth. Sheridan, I don't know if you had a run there tonight. Tell us what's made up your night tonight.
Yeah. G'day, Alex. G'day, Corey. I jumped into have a go and slipped into split 2 and thought, all right, we'll see how we go. And I qualified poorly. Both laps I had a mess up, and I think I qualified 11th. And I thought, oh, that's really bad. And I looked at the leaderboard, and Mark Jeffo, my mate, had qualified 16th. I went, oh, beauty, somebody was worse than me. So that made my night. And it took off. Had a good run. Guys falling off the circuit everywhere, of course, on cold tyres, and managed to make my way up to where I could see Sean Curran. He was leading the race, and I made up to P4, slipped up to P3 at one stage, but that was only because some of the faster guys had a mishap and slipped back behind me and made their way back up in front and finished P4. So I was quite happy. Great, intense last 2 laps. Love the new Skippy model. Love the tyre model. Love the crash model. Love everything about it. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, mate. It's surprising to hear someone with the pace of Sean Curran relegated to the second split as well. I've tangled with him a little bit in actually it was at this track, if I'm not mistaken, in the Friday night race, and he had some pace. So hopefully, if he can get some more seat time, we can see him back up here, mate. But I think sounds like you had some fun. But I think you've got a special event coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. You want to tell the folks at home about that?
Yeah, this Saturday night, actually, just to pay homage to the man himself, Mr. Bernie Woomers, Sunday Night Lights and Monday Night Lights, and founder, basically, I suppose. And I believe he trained some of you guys with, well, I don't know about Corey, but I know you've had a lot of airtime with him out. So we're going to pay homage to him and have a run in the Skip Barbers where it all sort of began. And get it on at Bathurst for a 50-lap race. We're basically inviting a lot of people. There'll be a password put up in Discord, anybody that's involved in the Top Split Discord or FNRC Discord, or we'll see the password up on Saturday night, and is welcome to jump into the Skippy and come and have a run on at Bathurst.
Yeah, beautiful. You're right. The great man himself, Bernie Weimer's heart and soul of much of the broadcasting in ANZ community. He looked after us tremendously and set us up for what we are today. And so very appreciative. Great to see something named after the great man, as you say, and look forward to taking part of that. I'm planning on getting on track. I'll stream it from a different kind of perspective and looking forward to every minute. So thanks, Brian. Thanks for coming in and speaking with us tonight and telling us about the second split, and also for putting on such a great event next week, mate. So hopefully we'll see you on track perhaps in the coming weeks. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
Yeah, just you guys basically for doing this every week. Look, fantastic. It's great entertainment, and it gets a lot more people like myself involved. It gets our juices going and gets us all on track, and is great for the Skippy community. So well done to you guys, and I'd just like to thank my mum for having me and my missus for putting up with me.
Nice one, mate. Awesome. All right, Sharon, mate. Well, thanks for dropping by, and like I said, mate, hope to see you on track in the remaining weeks of the season.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
There you go, Corey. That was Brian Sheridan, heart and soul of the Friday Night Race Club, of course, where you can get a bit of racing in next week in the Skip Barbers 50-lap race around Bathurst. What more could you ask for? It'd be a good test for this new tyre and damage model, I'm sure, eh?
Oh yeah, definitely. Cold tires and the damaged model at Bathurst is going to be an absolute dream, and 50 laps is going to be a very intense and crazy race, and one that I'm actually going to be looking forward to being a part of and streaming as well. Going to be some great fun. It's great to see people from other splits coming up for an interview as well. We haven't had that in a long time. I think I was the last person who actually came up from a lower split for an interview, so it's good to see Brian coming up from the second split to have a chat to us, and great to see him putting on that event in recognition of all the stuff that Bernie has done for our community. It's great to see, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing the great man out on track himself. Guess it's a call out to you, Mr. Weemers. Get out there and get some Skippy love, and it's good fun. All right, folks, that'll about do us for this week. Why don't I just grab if I can find it, the chopper cam to take us out, of course. Corey, you mentioned you were streaming this week. Where can the folks at home find you this week?
You guys can find me over at Corey Has No Life 13 over on the Twitch side of things. Got some Friday Night Race Club stuff going on. We got the Skippy 50 at Bathurst on Saturday. Should be a lot of good fun. And you guys can also catch me over at the Aussie_sim_commentator channel on Wednesday about 11 o'clock Western Standard Time in Australia. So that's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon over East for what will be round number 9 of the Output Racing League from the Texas Motor Speedway.
Awesome stuff, Corey. And of course, folks, you can check out all things Top Split at the places on your screen. This race will be uploaded to the Top Split YouTube channel, which is where you can also find the latest episode of the Top Split podcast, a video edition this time. The podcast itself is generally the audio edition you can find on the topsplit.com or iTunes or your favourite podcatcher. The Discord is where we do the race broadcast from if you want to join us as part of a post-race interview. And of course, Top Split TV is this channel here where you'll find us usually on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday and or Sunday nights, depending on what action is on offer. But for now, folks, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of my co-commentator, the chaotic one, Corey Steinhauser, thank you very much for joining us, for your ongoing support of the series on track and off. It's much appreciated. And until next time, well, we'll say ciao for now.